dear students, I am Professor Mansi Patil here for you with CA Foundation Companies Act revision lecture including the amendments. Because I have seen a lot of students getting confused in OPC amendments, in Section 8 company amendments, etc. etc. So this one video will include the revision as well as the amendments. Okay, let's start up with Companies Act 2013. Everyone knows the weightage is 13 marks. What we have observed is over a period of time you get 3 questions, 6 marks, 4 marks and 3 marks. Up till now this is our observation. 6 marks question normally they ask theory, 4 and 3 marks question they ask case study or practical question, 4 and 3 each. Okay, but it's quite manageable, don't worry. Let's start up with Companies Act. First of all, everyone knows it has 470 sections and 7 schedules. Don't worry, you don't have the entire Companies Act right now in your syllabus. You just have some part, the basics. Now, what is a company? That's a funny definition which you have read. Company means a company which is incorporated either under Companies Act 2013 or any other previous Companies Act. Now, a lot of students think कि ma'am ये क्या definition है? See, they are just covering up one thing, that whether you are a company which is incorporated under Companies Act 2013 or you are a company which you are incorporated under Companies Act 1956 or you are a company which is incorporated under any other previous Companies Act, it doesn't matter. Companies Act 2013 is applicable for you. Okay, then Companies Act is applicable to 6 organizations. First, it is applicable to all the companies incorporated under this act or previous Companies Act. It is also applicable to all insurance companies. Ma'am, what is the need for them to tell you specifically about insurance companies? Which are insurance companies, banking companies, electricity companies, they have their own law. But still, in spite of having their own law, Companies Act 2013 is applicable. But if there is any contradiction between their own law and Companies Act, you will have to give first preference to their own law. So it is applicable to insurance companies, it is also applicable to banking companies, it's also applicable to electricity companies. But if you read आगे का, except in so far as the provisions are inconsistent, means those provisions which are not consistent with their own act, those provisions of Companies Act are not applicable. Okay, then it is also applicable to all the companies governed under Special Act and any other body corporate like NHAI, National Highway Authority of India, Food Corporation of India. Now, 6, once again, companies under this act or previous Companies Act, insurance company, banking company, electricity companies, companies governed under Special Acts and body corporates which are incorporated under some other act. So, these 6 organizations is the applicability of Companies Act. Let's start up with the characteristics of the company. First is separate legal existence. Company is different from the people who own and manage the company. There is a case law, Macquarie versus Northern Assurance Company Limited, where Macquarie was holding majority of the shares and he assumed, since I am holding majority of the shares, I am the owner of the company and hence me and the company are same. So he is getting his company's assets insured in his own name, which is not possible. Next, perpetual succession. Even if one member dies or all the members die or the director dies, it doesn't matter at all. It will still continue forever. Limited liability. You have normally heard members' liability is limited to the extent of unpaid value of share. Now, we will be discussing these 3 points in depth when I teach you classification of companies. Then, artificial legal person. Company is coming into existence by an incorporation process and not by natural birth. And last one is common seal, which is optional. Nowadays, they have given the amendment that nowadays common seal is optional. You have common seal, okay. If you don't have common seal, 2 directors or 1 director and 1 CS are gonna sign, where company's signature is required. All this is fine. Coming to a very important concept, lifting or piercing of corporate veil. What do you mean by the term veil? Veil means parda or curtain. Basically, corporate veil is an artificial curtain created by law which separates the company from the people who own and manage the company. Simple words, if I put it, it is separate legal existence. There's a case law, Salomon versus Salomon and Company, where Salomon is the majority shareholder, is also the managing director, he is also a secured debenture holder. In spite of acting in three capacities, still Salomon is different and his company is totally different. But there are a lot of instances where people take advantage of the fact that company is different. For example, क्या होता है? Yes, ये पर्दे के पीछे ये जो एम्प्लॉइज है, ये जो डायरेक्टर्स है, वो लोग काम करते हैं, वो लोग इलीगल काम करते हैं और फिर बोलते हैं हमने थोड़ी किया है, कंपनी ने किया है, जाओ उनको पकड़ो. So they take advantage of separate legal existence. Therefore कोर्ट बोलता है बेटा अगर हम पर्दा दे सकते हैं तो वो पर्दा भी उठा सकते हैं. So in that case this is lifting of corporate veil. When I say lifting of corporate veil means court will consider the company and these people as same, and just as company will be penalized, even these people are gonna be penalized. Now which are these instances? There are 5 instances. First one, so which are the circumstances where the veil is gonna be lifted? But of course remember the veil can be lifted only by the court and no other body. First one, when you have set up a company for some illegal or improper purpose. How is this possible? The first case law, Guilford Motor versus Horn. Now what happened in this case law? Guilford Motor versus Horn. First one. See what happened is, there was Mr. Horn who was an employee of Guilford Motors and he was doing very good. Now what happens is, one day he leaves the company. So Guilford Motors was scared that if he leaves the company and if he starts up his own motor company, it is very well possible कि वो सारे customers को अपने पास लेके जाएगा. तो Guilford Motors हॉर्न के पास एक agreement sign करवाता है that if you are leaving this company for next 3 years you will not do any motor business. This is valid because it's an exception to your restraint of trade. Now what happens is, हॉर्न तो छोड़ के चला गया ये sign करके. Eventually Horn set up his company and that company started taking all the customers of Guilford. So when Guilford realized, they said, "Arey, you had signed an agreement." Horn said, "Arey, you stopped me from doing business." But I'm not doing motor business. It's my company who's doing motor business. So he's taking advantage of the separate legal existence. इसलिए पर्दा उठ गया. So Guilford Motors ने since case किया, हॉर्न को एंड उसकी कंपनी को सेम ही माना गया. So that's your first one. Second one, determining residence and character. There's a case law, if you see, Daimler versus Continental Tire. So I'll just write Daimler versus Continental Tire. Now Daimler was a company which is registered in England and Continental was also a company registered in England. But all the shareholders and the directors were German. So the control and the management decisions were taken by Germans. Okay. Now there is a contract between them for some business. What happened is, there was World War I where England and Germany were against each other. So Daimler said, "Ki listen, you are a German company indirectly, so you are our alien enemy." But the Continental said, "Arey sir, we are different and all our shareholders and directors are different. They are Germans, we are still registered in England." So ये पर्दा उठाया, because technically तो पूरा control Germans का ही है, decision making भी Germans का ही है. Since ये पर्दा उठाया, इनको same माना गया and this company was treated as a German company and hence it was an alien enemy. Third one, you are setting up a company for evasion of taxes, evading taxes, and I'm sure everyone remembers this legendary case law, Dinshaw Manekji Patel. Oh, pardon me. Sir Dinshaw Manikji Petit. Yes, now what happened? This fellow had lot of money, lot of investments. He had to pay a lot of tax during those days. And what he did is, he set up 4 companies. Company 1, Company 2, Company 3, Company 4. And he split all his investments in 4 parts. So if I assume 1 lakh shares total, I'm just taking an example. 25,000 shares were given to first company and so on. So the income, total income was split in 4 parts. And during those days, there were slab rates for companies as well. So for example, I'm just taking a random example, up to 25,000 income, no tax. Now, all the companies were receiving 25,000, 25,000, 25,000 each because their income was split in 4 parts. And because it was below or up to the taxable limit, neither of the companies paid tax. So Dinshaw did not pay tax because he is not the holder of these shares, and companies also did not pay tax because it was below their taxable limit. But there has to be some way where Dinshaw can take this money and spend. So what Dinshaw did is, ये जो इनकम कंपनीज को मिला, उसने ऐसा दिखाया कि ये कंपनी ने ये इनकम मुझे लोन के तौर पे दिया, एंड Dinshaw नेवर रीपेड दैट लोन. और रीपे करेगा अभी क्यों, सामने पूछने वाला कौन है? इवेंचुअली एक दिन वो लोन टाइम बाद डेट बन जाएगा, खत्म. नो वन इज गोना sue him बिकॉज कंपनीज में और कोई भी नहीं है, सिर्फ Dinshaw है. Maybe some 2-3, so you can say sleeping investors are there. So Dinshaw is making use of separate legal existence just to escape from taxes. इसलिए ये पर्दा उठाया गया और इनको सेम माना गया, and the entire income was taxed in the hands of Mr. Dinshaw. 4th one, you are setting up company to avoid some welfare laws or labor laws. Welfare or labor laws. So there is a case law, Workmen of Associated Rubber Industries versus Associated Rubber Industries. Now I'm going to tell you this in very short. You know, in India, there is one law, Payment of Bonus Act, which says that if you have 20 or more than 20 employees in your organization, Payment of Bonus Act is applicable and it's compulsory for you to give bonus to all your employees. Now this Associated Rubber Industry had 57 employees. So of course, Payment of Bonus Act is applicable. So what they did is, they split in 3 companies. 19 employees, 19 employees and 19 employees. So workmen are like, we are not idiots. We can come to know that you are doing this just to avoid the labor law. So ये पर्दा उठाया गया और उनको same माना गया. And lastly, you are opening a subsidiary company so that it acts like your agent. Now if I take example, yes, or rather case law. The case law is there in our book. Merchandise Transport versus British Transport Commission. Merchandise Transport versus British Transport Commission. Now just as in India, we have RTOs. So if I want to do some traveling business, transport business, I'll have to take a proper license, correct? So in UK also there was British Transport Commission. So Merchandise Transport Company was formed for transport business. So they applied to BTC for license, but since they could not fulfill certain criteria, the license got rejected. And as per UK rules, you could not reapply for few years. So Merchandise is now what to do? So they opened a new company and they transferred all their assets and everything to this company. And they were holding majority of the shares in this company. And this company applied for license and they did not make the mistakes which Mercantile made, and hence they got the license. So ये लोग जो खुद नहीं कर पाए, इनके थ्रू करवा रहे हो आप. So in that case, ये पर्दा उठ गया और इनको सेम माना गया. So आप अपनी सब्सिडरी कंपनी ओपन कर रहे हो ताकि वो आपके एजेंट की तरह काम कर सके. So यार, it's not illegal as such, but you are trying to escape the law by acting smart. गवर्नमेंट बोलती है अगर तुम शाणे हो तो हम 1.5 शाणे हैं. You can't do this. So 5 situations. First one, very quickly, illegal purpose, determining residence and character, evasion of taxes, avoiding labor or welfare laws, and lastly subsidiary as your agents. So this was your lifting of corporate wealth. Okay, then the next part, classification of companies. First is on the basis of liability. Let me just write it here. Classification of companies. First is on the basis of liability. In this you have company limited by shares. You know, you always say, I had told you that limited liability part I'll be explaining you in depth. Here it is. So you have always heard saying that members liability is limited to the extent of unpaid value of share. So अगर 10 रुपए का शेयर है and if you have paid 7 rupees, 3 rupees is your liability. 3 रुपया पर शेयर कंपनी को कम पड़ता है, वो कंपनी का प्रॉब्लम है, आपका liability लिमिटेड है. लेकिन मैम हाउ विल वी कम टू नो विच टाइप ऑफ कंपनी इट इज? ऐसी कंपनी के मेमोरेंडम ऑफ एसोसिएशन के लायबिलिटी क्लॉज में लिखा हुआ रहता है दैट लायबिलिटी इज लिमिटेड टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ अनपेड वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर. बट एक चीज है बच्चा कि ये जो अनपेड वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर है, 3 रुपया 4 रुपया जो भी है, दिस कैन बी कॉल्ड एनी टाइम. स्टार्टिंग में बुला सकते हो, बाद में बुला सकते हो, लिक्विडेशन के टाइम पे बुला सकते हो, कभी भी आप बुला सकते हो. And of course, if the shares are fully paid, he has no liability. Then you have company limited by guarantee. This is normally for your Section 8 companies where normally you don't have share capital. So बच्चा अगर share capital ही नहीं है तो how can you use the term it's limited to the extent of unpaid value of share? So ऐसे companies के memorandum of association में liability clause में लिखा हुआ रहता है that our members liability is limited to the extent of so and so guarantee amount. It can be 1 lakh, 10,000, 5 lakh, anything. So it is not limited to the extent of unpaid value of share, but it is limited to the extent of some amount, and that is guarantee amount कि हम guarantee देते हैं कि हम इतना पैसा देंगे. But one thing is there, this guarantee amount can be called only and only at the time of liquidation. मतलब मेंबर्स जो है वो गारंटी देते हैं कि कंपनी जब डूब जाएगी हम इतना पैसा कंट्रीब्यूट कर देंगे भाई. ओके, देन यू हैव इज अनलिमिटेड लायबिलिटी कंपनी. इट्स नॉट वेरी कॉमन बट इट्स देयर. सो एज द नेम सजेस्ट योर मेंबर्स लायबिलिटी इज अनलिमिटेड एंड इट कैन बी एक्सटेंडेड इवन टू देयर पर्सनल असेट्स. तो मैम पार्टनरशिप फर्म और इस कंपनी में फर्क क्या है? क्योंकि पार्टनरशिप फर्म में भी आपका लायबिलिटी अनलिमिटेड होता है, यहाँ पे भी अनलिमिटेड है. बच्चा बहुत बड़ा फर्क है. पार्टनरशिप फर्म डज नॉट हैव सेपरेट लीगल एग्जिस्टेंस. तो जो फर्म के क्रेडिटर्स है सीधा पार्टनर्स को स्यू कर सकते हैं. बट अनलिमिटेड लायबिलिटी इज अ कंपनी, इट हैज अ सेपरेट लीगल एग्जिस्टेंस. सो इस कंपनी के क्रेडिटर्स है सीधा मेंबर्स को स्यू नहीं कर सकते. दे विल स्यू द कंपनी एंड कंपनी विल रिकवर इट फ्रॉम द मेंबर्स. सो दिस इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ लायबिलिटी. कमिंग टू ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मेंबर्स, you have a very simple one, private company. Now private company, if someone asks you the definition, don't say private company is a company which is not a public company. फिर public company पूछोगे तो बोलोगे public company is a company which is not a private company. तो ये तुम्हारा रिंगा रिंगा रोजेस चलता रहेगा. No. See, I understand government is little lazy when they have to define two things which are opposite to each other. They will take the pains of defining only one. जो दूसरा ये नहीं है वो है. तो यहाँ पे they have taken efforts to define private company. Private company is a company whose articles of association contains 3 restrictions. First, it restricts the number of members to 200. And you have 2 points here. Joint shareholders will be counted as 1, and employees and ex-employees are not to be counted at all. मतलब हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ आर जॉइंटली होल्डिंग शेयर्स तो तुम उनको दो नहीं एक ही काउंट करोगे. एंड एम्प्लॉयज एंड एक्स एम्प्लॉयज अगर आपकी कंपनी के शेयर होल्डर है वो लोग शेयर होल्डर बन सकते हैं, बट व्हेन यू काउंट 200 दे आर नॉट टू बी काउंटेड. सेकेंड वन, इट रेस्ट्रिक्ट्स द ट्रांसफरेबिलिटी ऑफ शेयर्स. बच्चा प्राइवेट कंपनी के शेयर्स आर नॉट फ्रीली ट्रांसफरेबल. सी आई विल नॉट से इट कैन नॉट बी ट्रांसफर्ड. ऑफकोर्स आप ट्रांसफर कर सकते हो बट थोड़ी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस रहती है, थोड़े प्रोसीजर्स रहते हैं जो आपको फॉलो करने होते हैं. पब्लिक कंपनी का ऐसा नहीं है बॉस, पब्लिक कंपनी के शेयर्स आर फ्रीली ट्रांसफरेबल, बट यहाँ पे इट रेस्ट्रिक्ट्स द ट्रांसफरेबिलिटी ऑफ शेयर्स. एंड थर्ड वन, it prohibits you from inviting the public for subscription of securities. That means you cannot do public issue for shares, debentures, preference shares, equity shares. किसी भी चीज के लिए आप नहीं जा सकते. So 3 restrictions. Minimum shareholders required 2 and maximum are 200. And minimum directors are 2. And the name will always end with private limited. Then, what is a public company? First line to everyone knows, come on. Public company is a company which is not a private company. But आगे भी कुछ है, 2 points और. It has at least 7 members. And बच्चा, a private company which is a subsidiary of a public company is deemed to be a public company. I've seen lot of students, they don't remember third point or they don't understand third point. Example लेते हैं, X Limited है, it's just limited, मतलब ये एक public company है. They are holding 70% shares in MN Private Limited. So this is holding, this is subsidiary. ये subsidiary company एक private company है, लेकिन इसके जो पप्पा है वो एक public company है. So बच्चा, this will be treated as a public company only. भले उसके नाम में प्राइवेट लिमिटेड दिखता है, भले उसके आर्टिकल्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन में 3 रेस्ट्रिक्शन है, लेकिन इसको भी पब्लिक कंपनी माना जाएगा व्हेन इट कम्स टू एप्लीकेशन ऑफ लॉज. मतलब एमएन प्राइवेट लिमिटेड पे पब्लिक कंपनी के रूल्स भी अप्लाई होंगे. सो आई विल जस्ट रिपीट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मराठी का बच्चा मराठी है, गुजराती का बच्चा गुजराती है, वैसे ही पब्लिक लिमिटेड का बच्चा भी पब्लिक लिमिटेड कंपनी ही माना जाएगा. सो एक साथ मेरे साथ बोलिए प्लीज. अ प्राइवेट कंपनी विच इज अ सब्सिडरी ऑफ अ पब्लिक कंपनी विल बी डीम्ड टू बी अ पब्लिक कंपनी. ओके. मिनिमम शेयर होल्डर्स 7, मैक्सिमम नो लिमिट. मिनिमम डायरेक्टर्स आर 3 एंड द नेम विल ऑलवेज एंड विथ लिमिटेड. All clear? Perfect. OPC. It has only one person. Let's say for example Mansi is holding shares in OPC. Mansi is alone holding shares in OPC. Mansi is the sole member of OPC. लेकिन बच्चा, मानसी अलग है और उसकी कंपनी अलग है. Even though she is holding 100% of the shares, Mansi is different from her company. So the name of OPC will always end with so and so private limited bracket OPC. Bacha, please be careful here. OPC has only one member, but it can have more than or one director. डायरेक्टर मैं अकेली भी हो सकती हूँ, मैं 2 और लोगों को भी काम पे रख सकती हूँ. सी, कंट्रोल मुझे मेरे अकेली के हाथ में चाहिए, लेकिन मुझे मैनेजमेंट के लिए और लोग चाहिए, तो आई कैन हैव मल्टीपल डायरेक्टर्स. Member is only and only one. Okay. Now there are certain restrictions. First of all, बच्चा, before I tell you the restriction, अगर मानसी मर गई तो उसके जगह पे उसकी नॉमिनी आ जाएगी as a member. And nominee's name will be mentioned in Memorandum of Association Succession Clause. So let's say I am appointing Mr. X as my nominee. तो मैं एवं ही किसी का भी नाम नहीं डाल सकती. आई हैव टू टेक अ प्रायर रिटन कंसेंट ऑफ मिस्टर एक्स दैट ही इज ओके टू बिकम माय नॉमिनी एंड आई हैव टू सबमिट दिस विद आरओसी. ओके. इफ मानसी डाइज, मिस्टर एक्स विल कम, देन ही आल्सो हैव्स टू नॉमिनेट समवन. उसका भी प्रायर रिटन कंसेंट लेना पड़ेगा. सी, ये होगा तो ही अपना परपेचुअल सक्सेशन चलता रहेगा. ओके. देन later on, if I want, I can change my nominee. Later on, if my nominee wants, he can voluntarily say कि मुझे nominee नहीं रहना है. जिसका भी मैं नाम वापस लिखती हूँ उसका भी prior written consent and then I have to inform ROC कि भाई मैंने मेरा nominee change किया है, मेरे मरने के बाद ये person आएगा. Then member and nominee cannot be minors. They should be natural persons. They should be Indians resident in India for at least 120 days. Earlier it was 182 days, now it is 120 days. बच्चा OPC cannot be opened for section 8 non-profit purpose, नहीं. OPC cannot buy securities on any other company, मतलब OPC cannot be a shareholder of any other company. OPC cannot do non-banking financial business. वो जो होता है ना लोन देने का, डिपॉजिट लेने का, ये बिजनेस वो लोग नहीं कर सकते. तुमको अगर वो बिजनेस करना है तो कोई और कंपनी खोल दो, OPC मत खोलो प्लीज. देन वॉलंटरीली अगर OPC को कन्वर्ट होना है आगे प्राइवेट या पब्लिक कंपनी में, बच्चा वो लोग हो सकते हैं. अर्लियर कुछ लिमिट था 2 years वगैरह, अभी ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. आप बिंदास कभी भी OPC को कन्वर्ट कर सकते हो प्राइवेट कंपनी या पब्लिक कंपनी में. So this whole part is given to you here. So this part is gone, and instead of 182 days, now it is 120 days. Okay? And then you have small company. Small company is a private company. Other than public company, matlab private company, whose paid up share capital does not exceed 2 crores. And turnover does not exceed 20 crores. Earlier it was 50 lakhs and 2 crores. Now it has become 2 crores and 20 crores. So now it is 4 crores and 40 crores also. But for December 22 exams, that 4 crores and 40 crores is not yet announced by institute. So for your attempt, आपको 2 and 20 ही याद रखना है. अगले attempt से वो change हो जाएगा. लेकिन December 2022 students, बच्चास प्लीज रिमेंबर फॉर यू इट इज 2 crores and 20 crores. अब स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं. 2 crores और सच हायर अमाउंट एज मे बी प्रिस्क्राइब्ड विच शैल नॉट बी मोर देन 10 crores. बच्चा इफ यू रीड इट केयरफुली, और सच हायर अमाउंट एज मे बी प्रिस्क्राइब्ड, तो ये फ्यूचर के लिए तुमको 2 and 20 ही याद रखना है. बट जब आप लिखते हो डेफिनेशन कंपनी की, कोई भी कंपनी की, भी विद प्राइवेट कंपनी और स्मॉल कंपनी, एनी कंपनी, यू हैव टू राइट दिस एंटायरली. तो गवर्नमेंट के लिए आगे का 10 crores है. ओके, the next one is on the basis of control, which is very important from exam point of view. OPC was also very important from exam point of view. Okay, so on the basis of control, you have holding company, subsidiary company, and you have associate company. See bacha, holding company, they don't have much to give you. Holding company is a company where other is a subsidiary company. Basically they have taken pains to define what is a subsidiary company. So there are 3 points. Everyone please pay attention. You know, मैंने ऐसा देखा है कि तुम लोग को हमेशा ऐसा लगता है कि मैम हम लिखते हैं आंसर्स, बट वाई वी आर नॉट गेटिंग मार्क्स, बी इट इन एनी टेस्ट सीरीज और प्रीलिम्स और मॉक टेस्ट, वॉट एवर यू हैव रिटन. तुमको हमेशा ऐसा लगता है यार सही तो लिखा है मैंने, हमारा मार्क जा किधर रहा है. सो आई हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड वन थिंग. फॉर एग्जाम्पल दे आर आस्किंग यू एनी केस स्टडी बेस्ड क्वेश्चन ऑन सब्सिडरी होल्डिंग. तुम लोग ना सब्सिडरी कंपनी का डेफिनेशन ऐसा लिखते हो वेयर अदर कंपनी कंट्रोल्स मोर देन 51% और इक्वल टू 51% ऑफ इट्स टोटल शेयर कैपिटल. दिस इज एंटायरली रॉन्ग बच्चा. Subsidiary company में there are 3 points and I am going to use the legal language, so you better be careful here. Okay, subsidiary company is a company where other company controls more than half of the total voting power. There's something more but that I'll tell you later. Or other company controls management of this company, or subsidiary is also a subsidiary. Now let's just split everything. Let me take up the first part. More than half of the total voting power, basically it is more than 50% of voting power. Paid up equity share capital you have to consider because they can vote. And bacha, you also have to consider convertible preference share capital. Convertible because eventually it will be converted to equity shares. So eventually they will be able to vote in future. So more than 50% of the paid up equity share capital plus convertible preference share capital. But in exam, if they just write preference share capital, for example 7% preference shares, 8% preference shares, they are non-convertible. Convertible hoga to they will specifically write 7% convertible preference share. So you look for this word convertible. Okay. So for example, there is a company S Limited in which paid up equity share capital is 100 lakhs and convertible preference share capital is 50 lakhs. So you have total 150 lakhs, out of which 80 lakhs is owned by H Limited. So 150 lakhs में से more than 50% is owned by H Limited. That means I can call H Limited as a holding company, S Limited as a subsidiary company. अगर ये नॉन कन्वर्टेबल होता तो आई वुड हैव इग्नोर्ड दिस. तो तुमको मोर देन 50% 100 lakhs का ही चेक करना है. ठीक है. So more than 50% of your paid up equity share capital plus convertible preference share capital. In exam, don't write this. This is for your understanding. You are supposed to write more than half of the total voting power. And bachas, please observe. मैंने more than or equal to 51% नहीं लिखा है. I have written more than 50%. Which will include 50.1 also, 50.8 also and 51 also. Okay. So write more than half. Secondly, other company controls management of this company. Basically, other company can either appoint or remove all or majority of the directors of this company. Now, I'll take example again. S Limited's articles of association, it is written that H Limited can appoint 7 directors out of 9 of this company. मतलब S Limited के articles में ऐसा लिखा है कि H Limited वहां पे बैठे बैठे इस कंपनी के 7 directors को अपॉइंट कर सकती है out of let's say 8 directors. मतलब वो कंपनी इस कंपनी का मैनेजमेंट कंट्रोल कर रही है. अगर मैं 1 लिखती तो ये नहीं होता, 5 लिखती तो होता. या तो द अदर कंपनी इज एबल टू अपॉइंट ऑल और मेजॉरिटी, या तो रिमूव ऑल और मेजॉरिटी. सो दिस इज कंट्रोलिंग द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ द कंपनी. एंड थर्ड वन इज सब्सिडरी. सब्सिडरी फॉर एग्जाम्पल H Limited is holding 70% of S Limited. S Limited is holding 60% of T Limited. So बच्चा H is holding S, S is holding T, therefore H is also holding T. अरे बेटे का बेटा भी तो अपना ही पोता है. So that is subsidiary. Subsidiary is also a subsidiary. अच्छा, what if I tell you एक कंपनी है U Limited जिसका टोटल पेड अप, यू कैन से पेड अप इक्विटी शेयर सब मिला के इट्स 100 lakhs. उसमें से H Limited is holding 40 lakhs. T Limited is holding another 40 lakhs. Still I can say H is holding U. पता है क्यों? क्योंकि H खुद 40% और H का पोता भी 40%, मतलब दोनों मिलके more than 50% कर रहे हैं. So this part here says other company controls more than half of the total voting power either on its own or along with its subsidiary. या तो तुम अकेला मोर देन 50% कंट्रोल करो या तुम तुम्हारी सब्सिडरीज के साथ मिलके मोर देन 50% कंट्रोल करो तो भी चलेगा. सो 3 पॉइंट, अदर कंपनी कंट्रोल्स मोर देन हाफ ऑफ द टोटल वोटिंग पावर आइदर ऑन इट्स ओन और अलोंग विद इट्स सब्सिडरीज, और अदर कंपनी कंट्रोल्स मैनेजमेंट ऑफ दिस कंपनी, और सब्सिडरीज ऑल्सो कंसिडर्ड एज अ सब्सिडरी. अब तुम एग्जाम में अदर कंपनी कंट्रोल्स मोर देन और इक्वल टू 51% लिखोगे तो मार्क्स तो कटेगा ही ना बेटा. You have to write all 3 points and you have to be very specific when it comes to definition. I'm sure you're clear now. Okay. Third one, associate company. Associate company is a company where other company is having significant influence, but it is not a subsidiary company. So more than or equal to 20%, बट लेस देन और इक्वल टू 50%, क्योंकि मोर देन 50% हो जाएगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो सब्सिडरी बन जाएगा. सो H लिमिटेड होल्ड्स 70% of S Limited, the relationship is holding subsidiary. H Limited holds 30% of A Limited, the relationship is holding an associate company. Saga bachcha, sautela bachcha. It's a very, I'm taking it in a very funny way, bachcha. It will just help you remember it. Nothing else. So these are your three types of company on the basis of your control. Then you have on the basis of capital, in which you have listed company, unlisted company. You know, earlier it was very simple. Listed company is a company whose securities are listed with the recognized stock exchange. खत्म हो गई बात. Normally students feel कि सारी public companies listed होती है. जी नहीं बच्चा. नॉट नेसेसरी. जिसको अपने सिक्योरिटीज को लिस्ट करवाना है वही लिस्टेड कंपनी के कैटेगरी में आती है. सो अभी है ना, रिसेंटली देयर वाज सम अमेंडमेंट. लिस्टेड कंपनी इज अ कंपनी whose securities are listed with the recognized stock exchange, but some companies can consult with SEBI and they can get the status of an unlisted company. So बच्चा, which are these companies? CA फाउंडेशन के अमेंडमेंट में फिलहाल ये नहीं डाला, ये इंटर में आ गया है, लेकिन तुमको नहीं है. यू जस्ट हैव टू रिमेंबर कि लिस्टेड कंपनी वो होती है whose securities are listed on a recognized stock exchange, but some companies can talk with SEBI and they can get the special status of an unlisted company. मतलब भले इसके कुछ सिक्योरिटीज लिस्टेड होंगे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे, बट स्पेशल परमिशन लेने के बाद उनको अनलिस्टेड कंपनी का स्टेटस अप्लाई किया जाएगा. मतलब इन पे लिस्टेड कंपनी के सारे रूल्स अप्लाई नहीं होंगे. बस आपको इतना ही याद रखना है और इसको कॉम्प्लिकेट मत करो सीए फाउंडेशन लेवल में. अनलिस्टेड कंपनी इज अ कंपनी विच इज नॉट अ लिस्टेड कंपनी. ठीक है. अदर कंपनीज यू हैव foreign company. Foreign company is a company which is incorporated outside India, but it is having place of business in India, either on its own or through an agent or electronically. सिर्फ इतना लिखोगे तो मार्क्स कटेगा बच्चा, क्योंकि आगे डेफिनेशन में और भी कुछ है. एंड इट कंडक्ट्स बिजनेस एक्टिविटी इन इंडिया. Amazon है, Apple है, Microsoft है. All these companies are incorporated somewhere else, but they are doing business in India. Second you have is government company. Government company is a company in which more than or equal to 51%. बच्चा see here. Here it is specifically given more than or equal to 51%. वहाँ पे it was more than 50. See the difference? So more than or equal to 51% is jointly owned by central government, state government, both. And government company का subsidiary will also be considered as a government company. So if I have to show you this, see these 3 points I have explained you. Government company 51%, foreign company, see they have given you this part also, and it conducts some business activity. Now coming to again a very important part, non-profit companies. Non-profit companies, everyone remembers the section also, section 8 company. As the name suggests, it is not for business, at least officially. They are having some charitable objects of commerce, science, commerce, you can say arts, education, social welfare, charity, etc. etc. सो बच्चा इनको ना बहुत रिलैक्सेशंस मिलते हैं, इनका लाइफ बहुत चिल रहता है, इनको टैक्सेशन में बहुत सारे रिलैक्सेशंस मिलते हैं. इसलिए गवर्नमेंट बोलती है सुन भाई, तेको इतना मजा हम करने दे रहे हैं तो तेको 2 रेस्ट्रिक्शन है. फर्स्ट, तू डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर नहीं कर सकता. सेकेंड, वट एवर सरप्लस यू अर्न इट शुड बी यूज्ड ओनली टू प्रमोट योर ऑब्जेक्ट. दैट्स इट. तेरा सरप्लस कोई और चीज में यूज हो गया तो फिर तू है और हम है, ऐसा गवर्नमेंट बोलती है इस कंपनी को. सो 2 रेस्ट्रिक्शंस का उनको मान रखना होगा. नाउ बच्चा, इफ यू वांट एग्जांपल, नेशनल स्पोर्ट्स क्लब ऑफ इंडिया, yes, there are a lot of section 8 companies. But you will never see National Sports Club of India Limited or National Sports Club of India Private Limited, right? So they are exempted from using the word limited or private limited. So in this particular case, बच्चा, इनको अगर ये exemption चाहिए तो they will have to make an application. So Section 8 company will make an application to government. Government उनको license देगा. And this license gives them the power of not using the words private, limited or limited. When I say ये words use नहीं कर सकते, कोई बोलेगा तो हाँ मैम, तो इसमें बड़ी बात क्या है? इसका ये मतलब है कि इस कंपनी पे प्राइवेट कंपनी के रूल्स अप्लाई नहीं होंगे, पब्लिक कंपनी के रूल्स भी अप्लाई नहीं होंगे, इनके खुद के अलग रूल्स होते हैं. लेकिन बच्चा, लाइसेंस देने के बाद इफ गवर्नमेंट कम्स टू नो दैट दिस सेक्शन 8 कंपनी इज डूइंग समथिंग nasty, that means they have declared dividend or they are doing some fraud or they are using the surplus for some other purpose. So if they come to know that they have done something wrong, तो गवर्नमेंट बोलती है अगर तुमको हम लाइसेंस दे सकते हैं तो तुमसे वो लाइसेंस ले भी सकते हैं. सो रिवोकेशन ऑफ लाइसेंस विल हैपन, बट गवर्नमेंट बोलती है देख भाई, हम डायरेक्टली ऐसे तेरा लाइसेंस छीन नहीं लेंगे, इतने भी जालिम नहीं है हम पहले तो तेको नोटिस देंगे, उसके बाद एक बोलने का मौका देंगे, दैट इज अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड. सो विल फर्स्ट गिव यू अ नोटिस, देन विल गिव यू अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड, एंड स्टिल वी आर नॉट कन्विंस्ड विद योर आंसर, वी विल रिवोक योर लाइसेंस. एंड गवर्नमेंट विल ऑर्डर यू टू डू 3 things. Either you become a normal company, that means you again add the words limited, private limited and work as a normal company, or you wind up, तुमसे ना हो पाएगा, सब बंद कर दे भाई तू, or you amalgamate with another section 8 company. That means you be with another section 8 company, वो अच्छा है, तू भी सुधर जाएगा, पता चला वही बिगड़ गए, जाने दो. So 3 choices, government can tell you to become a normal company, या तो you wind up, या तो you get amalgamated with another section 8 company. And बच्चा, इसका आपको say I've put it here, penalty. So for the company, minimum 10 lakhs up to 1 crore. And जो भी director officer जिसने ये सब किया है, imprisonment वाला part earlier था, वो निकल चुका है अभी. Now you just have fine minimum 25,000 up to 25 lakhs. Just remember बच्चा, 10 lakhs, 1 crore and 25,000, 25 lakhs. You have to remember this penalty. Yes, everyone. Okay. Then you have a dormant company, that is an inactive company बच्चा. Sometimes now you are setting up a company for some future project or for some intellectual property rights, जिसमें ज़्यादातर कोई ज़्यादा अकाउंटिंग ट्रांजैक्शन होते नहीं है. इट्स अ डॉर्मेंट कंपनी. सी व्हाट हैपेंस ना, अगर गवर्नमेंट को दिखता है, आरओसी को दिखता है दैट यू आर अ कंपनी जिसमें कोई एक्टिविटी नहीं हो रही है, तो गवर्नमेंट या आरओसी आपका नाम हटा देगा. इसलिए इफ यू आर अ कंपनी वेर यू नो कि भाई हम थोड़े टाइम के लिए शांत रहने वाले, थोड़े टाइम के लिए वी आर नॉट गोना हैव सिग्निफिकेंट अकाउंटिंग ट्रांजैक्शंस, सो यू मेक एन एप्लीकेशन टू आरओसी एंड टेल देम सामने से कि लिसन बॉस, we are setting up for some future project, इसलिए please give us the status of a dormant company. That means even if we don't do business in between, please don't strike our name off. So you are officially taking permission. Significant accounting transactions means what? All transactions are significant except payment of fees to ROC or payment made to fulfill some law or allotment of shares or maintenance of office and records. But these 4 things, they are just done to keep the company alive. This is not your business transaction. These transactions are just done to keep the company alive. So apart from these 4, all are significant accounting transactions. Nidhi company, basically you accept deposits from the members and lend it to the members. You don't have much about Nidhi company. And PFI, you just have a list that these are considered as PFIs. So we finished our lifting of corporate veil and we also did classification of companies. The next part is incorporation of company, but before I start with that, you first need to know who is a promoter. Promoter is basically, you can call him in simple words, the founder of the company. It is he who conceives the idea कि चलो company open करते हैं. वो सारा जो इनिशियल काम होता है कंपनी ओपन करने का, वो प्रमोटर करता है. लेकिन बच्चा जो बंदा अपने प्रोफेशनल कैपेसिटी में ये काम कर रहा है, फॉर एग्जांपल एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट है या एक लॉयर है जो किसी और की कंपनी का ये सारा इनिशियल वाला काम कर रहा है, he will not be treated as a promoter. So promoter, 3 points. He is a person who has been named as a promoter in the prospectus or annual return. ये वो बंदा है जिसका नाम prospectus and annual return में as a promoter लिखा जाता है. और he is a person who controls the company either as a shareholder or a director or in some other way. Or in accordance of with whose advice, directions, instructions the board is accustomed to act, means used to act. For example, if I take Mr. Ratan Tata, with all due respect, our hero Ratan Tata ji, even if maybe someday he is not part of board of directors, but वो ऐसे व्यक्ति है कि वो जो भी बोलेंगे, एडवाइस देंगे, इंस्ट्रक्शन देंगे, बोर्ड को उनकी बात मानने की आदत पड़ चुकी है, तो he also can be treated as a promoter. Okay, so he has been named as a promoter in the prospectus or annual return. He is controlling the company, or he, in accordance of whose advice, directions, instructions the board is accustomed to act. So now bacha, in exam don't write used to, write accustomed to. Okay, then incorporation of companies, only and only 7 steps. First, you will select which type of company you want to open. You want to open a private company, public company, you can say OPC, etc. वो हो गया preliminary requirements. You have to ensure that all the directors have done at least one director as a digital signature. Third one, see बच्चा, ये सब होने के बाद now you can decide some name. Whatever name you put, it may not be possible for you to get that name because हो सकता है कोई existing company के पास same name है. So you will have to make an application. They will give you a green signal कि yes, this name is available. कभी कभी होता है ना, हम user name वगैरह कुछ बनाने जाते हैं, already किसी का exist करता है तो हम नहीं बना पाते हैं, वैसा ही एक बार नाम आ गया तो बच्चा now you can easily make memorandum of association and articles. Common sense use करो. आप memorandum and articles पहले से नहीं बना सकते क्योंकि नाम ही नहीं है आपके पास. नाम आने के बाद you can make memorandum and articles. चल, you have made the important documents. Now you'll have to file all these documents with ROC. First, memorandum and articles जो इतने मेहनत से बनाया वो declaration by a professional, a CA, a CFA, or you can say company secretary, advocate, that all the rules of Companies Act has been followed by this company. Then declaration from the first directors and subscribers to memorandum. I've seen many students getting confused in this term. Ma'am, who are subscribers to memorandum? Simple words में बोलूँ तो subscribers to memorandum are the first shareholders of the company. आपके memorandum of association में एक clause है, association clause और subscription clause, जहाँ पे person का नाम लिखा हुआ रहता है, number of shares और signature. नाम, number of shares and signature. OPC होगी तो एक एक पर्सन का नाम लिखा हुआ रहेगा. प्राइवेट कंपनी होगी तो मिनिमम 2 लोगों का नाम लिखा हुआ रहेगा. पब्लिक कंपनी होगी तो मिनिमम 7 लोगों का नाम लिखा हुआ रहेगा. सो बेसिकली सब्सक्राइबर्स आर दोज पीपल हु डिक्लेयर देयर डिजायर कि हमको एक कंपनी खोलनी है. बट बच्चा, मैं उनको शेयर होल्डर्स नहीं बोल सकती क्योंकि कंपनी एग्जिस्टेंस में आई नहीं है तो उनको शेयर्स मिले ही नहीं है. तो till the company comes into existence, I'll have to call them subscribers of memorandum of association. तो इनसे डिक्लेरेशन लेना और फर्स्ट डायरेक्टर से डिक्लेरेशन लिया है दैट लास्ट 5 years में वो लोग कोई भी चीज के लिए कन्विक्ट नहीं हुए हैं. देन डिटेल्स ऑफ योर फर्स्ट डायरेक्टर्स, डिटेल्स ऑफ योर सब्सक्राइबर्स, डिटेल्स ऑफ द इंटरेस्ट, ये सबका डिटेल्स आरओसी को चाहिए. एंड एड्रेस, फाइनल एड्रेस होगा तो वो देना, टेम्पररी एड्रेस होगा तो वो देना. तो ये 7 चीजें यू हैव टू सबमिट टू आरओसी. महुआ हुआ, मेमोरेंडम आर्टिकल्स, declaration from a professional, declaration from the first directors and subscribers, then details of first directors, details of subscribers, details of interest and address. All 7 things you have to submit to ROC, and after you give this to ROC, ROC will give you a certificate of incorporation and they will give you CIN, that is corporate identification number. ये आ गया मतलब कंपनी हो गई, एग्जिस्टेंस में आ गई. So what is the effect of incorporation? All the subscribers will become members, right? Company has come into existence, company can sue, get sued, and so on. So these are the 7 simple steps of incorporation of company. What will happen if you give some wrong information to ROC for incorporation? See, there are two situations possible. You gave some wrong information and they catch you at that time only. That means company has not come into existence, means it is at the time of incorporation. तो अगर कंपनी एग्जिस्टेंस में ही नहीं रहा है तो कंपनी को बंद करवाने का तो सवाल ही नहीं उठता. हाँ, जिसने भी गलत इंफॉर्मेशन दिया है दैट पर्सन विल बी पेनलाइज्ड अंडर सेक्शन 447. Section 447 is a section of penalty for fraud. In Companies Act, whenever you hear fraud, Section 447 will come. Ma'am, what exactly is Section 447? You will be studying this in depth in your inter-C. So, जिसने भी गलत information दिया है 447 के अंदर उसको penalty मिल जाएगा. And incorporation के बाद if they catch you, मतलब company has come into existence, तो जिसने भी गलत इंफॉर्मेशन दिया उसके ऊपर सेक्शन 447 तो लगेगा ही. प्लस द कोर्ट कैन ऑल्सो ऑर्डर यू टू डू सम चेंजेस इन योर मेमोरेंडम आर्टिकल्स, और दे विल टेल यू दैट लायबिलिटी ऑफ द मेंबर्स इज अनलिमिटेड, और दे विल टेल यू टू रिमूव योर नेम, और दे विल टेल यू टू वाइंड अप, या whatever order they feel is fine, they will pass it. Okay, but before they do that, they will give you a notice and they will give you an opportunity to speak. उसके बाद only they will take appropriate action. This spice, you just have 3 lines that there is some simple procedure, but what is that procedure? You don't have it in your syllabus. Now, coming to Memorandum of Association, once they had asked 6 marks theory question on this, lot of students ask me, ma'am, is it okay if you skip it? But why you want to skip it? It's so simple. Memorandum and articles are the very important basic documents of the company. If you ask me which is more important, memorandum. Memorandum is the charter of the company, it's the constitution of the company. All other documents, including articles, should be as per memorandum. Correct? So what is the object? So this part students get confused. I'll simplify it for you. So बच्चा, memorandum 2 लोगों को काम आता है. एक shareholder या investor को, या एक creditor outsider को. How? It is useful to them. First, बच्चा, if you buy shares of a company, you want to know कि company का business क्या है, आपका पैसा कहाँ use होने वाला है, तो आप memorandum के object clause में पढ़ के ये पता लगा सकते हो. So it is useful to them. Then, since memorandum and articles both are public documents, you assume that everyone has read it. तो बच्चा, अगर आप कंपनी के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हो, लोन देते हो, कुछ भी होता है, तो इन दैट केस आपको जानना है ना कि दिस ट्रांजैक्शन जो कंपनी के साथ हो रहा है वो कंपनी के मेमोरेंडम के अंदर है या बाहर है. अगर ये अल्ट्रा वायर्स हुआ तो आप फंस जाओगे. इसलिए इट इज यूजफुल टू क्रेडिटर एंड आउटसाइडर्स ऑल्सो, बिकॉज दे वांट टू नो दैट वेदर दिस सेक्शन और वेदर दिस पर्टिकुलर ट्रांजैक्शन इज विद इन मेमोरेंडम और बियॉन्ड. नाउ, format, if you don't know how to make memorandum of association, schedule 1 helps you. Table A to table E are ready-made formats. Depending upon which company you are, you can go ahead and adopt those formats. What are the contents? Name clause, obviously you will write the name of the company. It will end with limited or private limited. Section 8 company, it will not end with name private limited or limited. You can use the term electoral trust or forum, association. ये सब words आप section 8 company के नाम में use कर सकते हो. Situation or registered clause में बच्चा, you do not write the address, you just write the name of the state in which the company is to be located. Object, what is your business? For example, we are into sugar manufacturing. तो हम शुगर बनाते हैं, जैगरी बनाते हैं, मोलासेस बन जाता है बाई प्रोडक्ट. तो ये सब कुछ आपको ऑब्जेक्ट क्लॉज में लिखना पड़ेगा. लायबिलिटी क्लॉज, आई टोल्ड यू, इफ इट्स अ कंपनी लिमिटेड बाय शेयर्स, देन यू विल राइट दैट मेंबर्स लायबिलिटी इज लिमिटेड टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ अनपेड वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर. इफ इट्स अ कंपनी लिमिटेड बाय गारंटी, इट इज लिमिटेड टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ गारंटीड अमाउंट. कैपिटल क्लॉज में बच्चा, यू विल बी राइटिंग ऑथोराइज्ड शेयर कैपिटल. So let authorized share capital is the maximum share capital which a company can issue. For example, 10 lakh shares of 10 rupees each is equal to 100 lakhs. So it's a fixed amount. Fixed value or fixed amount is nothing but your nominal value of the share. But boss, you will have a capital clause only if you have share capital. शेयर कैपिटल ही नहीं है अगर तुम्हारी कंपनी में, तो कैपिटल क्लॉज में क्या लिखोगे तुम, आएगा ही नहीं है. एसोसिएशन क्लॉज, एज आई टोल्ड यू बच्चा, फर्स्ट शेयर होल्डर्स का नाम लिखा हुआ रहता है. सो इट इज साइंड बाय ईच सब्सक्राइबर. एक विटनेस के सामने वो साइन करता है. ही विल टेक एटलीस्ट 1 शेयर एंड कितने शेयर्स ले रहा है वो उसको लिखना पड़ेगा. सो मानसी पाटिल 1000 शेयर्स, हर सिग्नेचर. एंड जब मानसी साइन करेगी, विटनेस के सामने साइन करेगी. एंड सक्सेशन क्लॉज विल कम ओनली इन केस ऑफ ओपीसी, बिकॉज यहाँ पे यू राइट द नेम ऑफ द नॉमिनी. Then memorandum is split in paragraphs. It should be numbered. It should be in writing, etc., etc. बच्चा everything in memorandum should be as per Companies Act. अगर कुछ भी memorandum में contrary to Companies Act होता है, मतलब against Companies Act, it will be devoid of any legal effect. मतलब it will be without any legal effect. तो कंपनी का मेमोरेंडम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट कंपनीज एक्ट उससे भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो प्लीज आप आपका मेमोरेंडम कंपनीज एक्ट के हिसाब से बनाएं. ओके. द नेक्स्ट कंसेप्ट, आर्टिकल्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन. बच्चा आर्टिकल्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन एंड मेमोरेंडम में क्या फर्क है? मेमोरेंडम देयर इज अ डायलॉग, कंपनी को बनाता है, एंड आर्टिकल्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन कंपनी को चलाता है. Memorandum makes the company and articles runs the company. So memorandum gives you the object and articles tells you the ways to achieve that object. So you can say it's the Magna Carta, means it's an important document, but it is always subsidiary to your memorandum. So memorandum should be as per articles, your articles should be as per memorandum, articles should be as per memorandum. Correct? Again, so what will it contain? It will contain the regulations for management. Now, if you are still confused कि मैम इसमें क्या क्या लिखते हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल बच्चा डायरेक्टर को अपॉइंट करने का क्या प्रोसीजर है, अगर डायरेक्टर को लोन लेना है तो क्या प्रोसीजर फॉलो करके उनको लोन लेना है. सो बेसिकली दे विल बी राइटिंग देयर प्रोसीजरल पार्ट इन आर्टिकल्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन. यू कैन इंक्लूड एडिशनल मैटर्स ऑल्सो, जो भी आपको लगता है मैनेजमेंट के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगेन आपको आर्टिकल्स बनाने नहीं आता है तो यू कैन अडॉप्ट टेबल F टू टेबल J. बच्चा मेमोरेंडम वाज टेबल A टू टेबल E and articles is from F to J. Now here you don't have that list of for which format for which company, तो in exam also you don't have to write. नहीं आता है, you can adopt table F to J. These are also known as model articles, मतलब रेडीमेड आर्टिकल्स. ना बच्चा ऐसा कोई रूल नहीं है दैट यू हैव टू अडॉप्ट द एंटायर टेबल एज इट इज. या तो यू अडॉप्ट द टेबल एज इट इज, या तो तुम कुछ रूल्स अडॉप्ट करो टेबल के, कुछ रूल्स मॉडिफाई करके लिखो तो भी चलेगा, या सिर्फ कुछ ही रूल्स अडॉप्ट कर लो तो भी चलेगा, बाकी के एक्सक्लूड कर दो. बट बच्चा इफ यू मॉडिफाई समथिंग और इफ यू एक्सक्लूड समथिंग, you will have to say that you have done it. If you don't say anything, it will be assumed that you have adopted everything as it is. So if you do not expressly exclude or modify, such provisions will apply as if you have applied the whole table. Now the most important part here is entrenchment provision, where many students get confused. Now what is entrenchment provision बच्चा? Entrenchment provision सिंपल वर्ड्स में अगर मुझे लिखना है तो इट इज एन एडिशनल रेस्ट्रिक्शन. राइट हियर, इट इज एन एडिशनल रेस्ट्रिक्शन which a company has to follow for altering articles of association apart from passing special resolution. See, स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन को तो तुमको पास करना ही पड़ेगा. मेमोरेंडम को ऑल्टर कर सकते हैं बट इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, बिकॉज स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन तो तुमको पास करना ही है टू ऑल्टर मेमोरेंडम, बट उसके साथ साथ यू हैव टू टेक परमिशंस ऑफ आरओसी, गवर्नमेंट इन सर्टेन केसेस. लेकिन आर्टिकल्स एकदम चिल्ड आउट है. यू कैन ऑल्टर आर्टिकल्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन बाय जस्ट पासिंग स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन. स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन मतलब यू आर टेकिंग कंसेंट ऑफ 75% ऑफ द मेंबर्स प्रेजेंट इन द मीटिंग. तो 100 लोग मीटिंग में बैठे हैं, 80 को मना दो और उन्होंने हाँ वोट कर दिया तो आपका रेजोल्यूशन पास हो जाएगा. सो बच्चा लॉ बोलता है यार ये कैसा हुआ. आर्टिकल्स ऑफ एसोसिएशन मतलब कंपनी के रूल्स. और आप कंपनी के रूल्स को इतने इजीली कैसे ऑल्टर कर सकते हो? आई मीन नो वन विल टेक योर रूल सीरियसली बिकॉज यू विल मेक द रूल, देन यू हैव योर मेजॉरिटी ऑफ 70-80%, उनको मना लो, ये रूल चेंज कर दो, रूल बनाओ रूल चेंज करो, रूल बनाओ रूल चेंज करो. सो कोई सीरियसनेस ही नहीं है फॉर मेकिंग रूल्स एंड कंटिन्यूइंग द रूल्स. देयरफॉर कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 बोलता है, रुक मैं आ रहा हूं. Companies Act 2013 got this entrenchment provision introduced. So if I have to take example, X Limited के articles of association में ऐसा लिखा है कि directors of the company can take loan up to 5 lakhs. मतलब इस कंपनी के डायरेक्टर को लोन लेना है कंपनी के लिए 5 लाख तक, वो बिंदास ले सकते हो. उसके ऊपर लेने के लिए they have to ask some people. अब ये रूल जब बना था that 5 lakhs had some value in business. Nowadays 5 lakhs does not have value. So now they want to alter 5 lakh to 50 lakhs. यार तुम 75% लोगों को मना लोगे तो 5 लाख से 5 करोड़ भी कर सकते हो, 50 करोड़ भी कर सकते हो. No one is gonna ask you because you have passed special resolution and you have followed the law. Therefore they introduce entrenchment provision. और यहाँ पे ऐसा लिखा है, if the above rule is to be altered, it can be done, but post alteration, company has to ensure that the debt to equity ratio of the company does not exceed 2:1. Does not exceed 2:1. Now those who did not understand, which are debt upon equity, what exactly is this? मेरी कंपनी में डेट है 30 lakhs का लेकिन इक्विटी है 10 lakhs का, मतलब माई रेशियो इज 3:1. मतलब मेरा डेट 3 times है इक्विटी का. दैट मीन्स इट्स वेरी रिस्की. ये जितना ज्यादा होगा इट विल बी मोर रिस्की. इफ आई राइट हियर उल्टा, सपोज माई डेट इज 10 lakhs एंड इक्विटी इज 30 lakhs. सो रेशियो इज 1:3. सो माई इक्विटी इज 3 times माई डेट. सो इट्स अ वेरी गुड रेशियो. ठीक है, दिस इज व्हाट इज डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो. अब मैंने क्या लिखा है कि अगर डायरेक्टर्स या कंपनी को ये ऑल्टर करना है 5 lakhs, सो इफ दे वांट टू चेंज 5 lakhs टू 50 lakhs, 5 crores, whatever, if they want to alter this, they can do so. स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन तो पास करना ही पड़ेगा, बट वो करने के बाद भी जब भी आप लोन लेने जाओगे यू ऑल्सो हैव टू एंश्योर कि डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो कंपनी का 2:1 के ऊपर नहीं जाता है. मतलब तुम इस 5 lakhs का 50 lakhs करो, 5 crores करो, 50 crores करो, स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन तो पास करो ही, प्लस यू ऑल्सो हैव टू एंश्योर दैट द डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो ऑफ द कंपनी डज नॉट एक्सीड 2:1. ओके, दैट मीन्स दिस इज एन एडिशनल रेस्ट्रिक्शन जो तुमको फुलफिल करना पड़ेगा अपार्ट फ्रॉम पासिंग स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन इफ यू वांट टू ऑल्टर आर्टिकल्स. So by putting entrenchment provision, they have made the alteration simple or difficult? Difficult, but that was the purpose. अब entrenchment provision तुम कभी भी डाल सकते हो, या तो in the beginning only you make articles तभी डाल दो, or you can add it later on. If you add it later on and if it's a public company, you have to pass a special resolution to add it. And if it's a private company, you have to take consent of all if you want to add it. पहले से डाल दोगे चलेगा, बाद में डालोगे तो भी चलेगा, बट ये फॉलो करो. एंट्रांचमेंट प्रोविजन आपको डालना है तो सारे रूल्स के लिए डालो, सिर्फ 5 के लिए डालना है तो 5 के लिए डालो, 2 के लिए डालना है तो 2 के लिए डालो. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, मैम एंट्रांचमेंट प्रोविजन कंपलसरी ऑप्शनल है? ऑप्शनल है. तो कोई बोलेगा तो फिर मैम कोई एंट्रांचमेंट प्रोविजन डालेगा ही क्यों? क्योंकि entrenchment provision if you put, you are making things complicated for the company, so why will company insert it? See bacha, if you don't insert entrenchment provision na, basically you're very chilled out, you're very lenient. Why will investor trust you with his money? He will think na, company is so chilled out, what if there are fraud? Let's say I want to take my son's admission in some school and that school is very chilled out. So if I take my son's admission there, my son will be having a very good time, but as a parent I will not trust that school, right? So same thing is applicable here. So most of the companies nowadays end up putting entrenchment provision. So this is your entrenchment provision. I hope you are very clear with this. Correct? So what is the effect of Memorandum and articles. Basically, both are like contracts between the company and the members. जो भी लिखा है, company has to follow and members both have to follow. Yes? Now, what is the difference between both, bacha? Memorandum gives you the object, article tells you the ways to achieve that object. Memorandum को alter करना difficult है, comparatively articles को alter करना simple है. Third one, memorandum focuses between the relationship of company and outsider, whereas article focuses between relationship of insiders. So this was your memorandum and articles of association. Now coming to your 3 doctrines, which are very simple. I don't know why people hype it so much. Doctrine of ultrawires. They are all interconnected, bacha. Then you have doctrine of constructive notice. And then you have doctrine of indoor management. Which all 3 doctrines are very, very, very important from exam point of view. But I've seen a lot of students get confused. See, I'll tell you what. These 3 doctrines are very simple to understand. But bacha, when it comes to writing, it is little tricky. So you know what is ultrawires, you know what is constructive notice, but when it comes to writing, you are unable to write. And that's why you lose marks. So bacha, just do one thing. Few days are left. Please do one thing. Ki whenever you are studying law and whenever you see some technical part like ultrawires, indoor management and so on, just ask yourself one question. Ki will I be able to write this in exam or not? If not, write. See, if I tell you to write, define offer and state the characteristics of offer, ये तुम लिख सकते हो. But when I tell you to write these doctrines, they are too technical, bacha. You are unable to write. So please practice writing this, and you know that they are so important. Why do you want to lose marks knowing that it is so important? थोड़ा सा effort कर लो बच्चा, 110% पास हो जाओगे. Okay? चलो, let's start up with ultrawires. What do you mean by the term ultrawires? In simple words, it means beyond the powers. अगर तुम memorandum of association के बाहर जाके कुछ भी करते हो, it is void ab initio and not even the entire body of shareholders can ratify. There is a case law, Ashbury versus Ritchie. So बच्चा, Ashbury company के memorandum of association के object clause में लिखा था that they are into, you know, they sell by railway wagons. वो ट्रेन के डब्बे बेचते हैं, खरीदते हैं, रेंट पे देते हैं. They are into mines, coal mine, etc. They are also into selling different minerals and selling iron, etc. And एक और चीज़ लिखी थी that they are also into general contractors business. That is, थोड़ा बहुत construction का भी काम कर लेते हैं. अब इन्होंने क्या किया? Ashbury entered into a contract with Ritchie to finance a railway line. अब normally बच्चा, ट्रेन की पटरी स्टेशन, the train will stop, you will unload your goods and then you will load it in your tempo and then take it. और big companies ना, वो लोग अपना एक रेलवे लाइन खुद ही ले लेते थे और ये सीधा उनके वेयरहाउस में खुलता था. मतलब it's like having a railway station in your own society building, right? So in this case, this was very expensive and you need to get a lot of approvals. तो इसका फाइनेंसिंग का काम आशबरी ने कर लिया रिची के लिए. शेयर होल्डर्स बोलते भाई तुम हमारा पैसा किसी की भी रेलवे लाइन को फाइनेंस करने के लिए कैसे यूज कर सकते हो? तो आशबरी वाले बोलते हैं अरे दिस इज जनरल कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स बिजनेस. एंड व्हेन द मैटर वाज टेकन टू द कोर्ट, कोर्ट बोलता है बेटा तूने जनरल ये वर्ड बहुत जनरली यूज कर लिया, ऐसे तो तू कुछ भी डाल देगा जनरल बोल के. सो हेल्ड दैट इट वाज अल्ट्रा वायर्स एंड इट इज void ab initio एंड सारे शेयर होल्डर्स एक साथ भी आके इसको रैटिफाई यानी कि अप्रूव नहीं कर सकते बिकॉज इट इज void फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग. That is what is ultra vires and this is what is the consequence. Neither of the parties can sue because it's void ab initio. But bacha, if there is an act which is ultra vires memorandum of association, it is void ab initio and it cannot be ratified. But if there is an act which is ultra vires articles but within memorandum, it is void but it can be ratified. and if there is any act which is ultra vires, powers of directors, it is but within memorandum, again it is void but it can be ratified. तुम मेमोरेंडम के बाहर जाओगे तो कुछ भी नहीं कर पाओगे. So this is another difference between memorandum and articles. Memorandum के बाहर गया, it's void ab initio, cannot be ratified. Articles के बाहर गया, it is void but can be ratified. So this is what is your first doctrine, ultra vires. Okay, this we finished. Then in exam you don't have to write the whole story, what happened, who was Ashbury, who was Ritchie. You just have to write the final judgment, that it was held that if there is any act which was ultra vires memorandum of association, it is void ab initio. You have to write the name of the case law and you can just write 2-3 lines for the same. Okay. Now here ultra vires हो गया, constructive notice. बच्चा Ritchie tells you कि अरे मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कि it is beyond the memorandum. So you will tell Ritchie, listen Ritchie, memorandum and articles दोनों public document है. तो तू अगर कंपनी के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करता है तो तुझे पढ़ के आना चाहिए था. वेदर तू पढ़ के आया कि नहीं आया. Law will assume that any person who deals with the company or contracts with the company has read the memorandum and articles and he knows what is there in memorandum and articles and he has understood the same in the right spirit. तू पढ़े या ना पढ़े, हम अज्यूम कर लेंगे कि तूने पढ़ भी लिया और तूने समझ भी लिया है. So it is, you have constructive notice about memorandum and articles. जैसा इंस्टीट्यूट तुम्हारे केस में अज्यूम करता है, तुम पढ़ो या ना पढ़ो, इंस्टीट्यूट अज्यूम कर लेता है कि तुम पढ़ के आए हो और तुमको समझ में भी आया. So that is just extension of your ultra vires. So constructive notice बच्चा कंपनी को बचाता है. It protects the company against outsiders, क्योंकि वो outsiders को बोलता है कि भाई तुझे को पढ़ के आना चाहिए था. इंडोर मैनेजमेंट इज उल्टा. इंडोर मैनेजमेंट ये बोलता है कि यार बाहर वाले को पता होना चाहिए. अग्री, फाइन, पॉइंट टेकन, बट इट इज नॉट हिज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू चेक कि कंपनी ने खुद का मेमोरेंडम या आर्टिकल्स फॉलो किया है कि नहीं. ही विल प्रिज्यूम दैट एवरीथिंग इज फॉलोड प्रॉपर्ली. वो थोड़ी क्वेश्चन पूछेगा आप तूने ये किया क्या, तूने वो किया क्या. अगर बाहर वाला इज आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस टू द कंपनी, कंपनी विल ओनली से यू माइंड योर ओन बिजनेस, हाउ डेयर यू आस्क अस क्वेश्चंस, हु आर यू. सो it is not the outsider's responsibility to interfere in the indoor management of the company. You will not understand this without a case law or an example. I am going to use the case law as an example. You have Royal British Bank versus Tarkand. Now bacha, there was a company, C company. Why I am calling it C company? Because you will see a huge name. Camerons, Colebrook, Steam, Coal, Swansea, Logger, Railway Company. इसको जिला घोषित कर देना चाहिए. Anyways, but yes, this was the name, so I'm just gonna call it C company. And now, in this case, C company and Royal British Bank. Royal British Bank के Articles of Association में ऐसा लिखा है, Directors can take loan only after they pass resolution. So अगर इस कंपनी के डायरेक्टर्स को लोन लेना है, they have to first get a resolution passed and only then they can take it. Now this directors went to C company asking for loan. अब constructive notice क्या बोलता है, C company देखो पढ़ के आना चाहिए था. C company ने पढ़ा कि अच्छा this company if the directors want to take loan they have to pass resolution. इनको ये पता है, but बच्चा it is not their job to verify and check have they followed their own procedure. अब इन्होंने assume किया, इन्होंने खुद का procedure follow किया ही होगा. ये सोच के उन्होंने लोन दे दिया और फिर एक बॉन्ड साइन करवा लिया. And they promised to repay it. Now this company आगे जाके liquidate हो गई. तो उनका जो liquidator था Mr. Tarkand. Mr. Tarkand. बच्चा for C company this loan is receivable or payable? Receivable. So it's an asset. So ये Tarkand was trying to recover this money. But the shareholders of Royal British Bank said, अरे तुमको पढ़ के आना चाहिए था. See, our directors have not passed any resolution, so we are not gonna repay the loan. So in this case, when the matter was taken to the court, Tarkand is pleading कि sir, as per constructive notice, हमको सिर्फ पता होना चाहिए जो हमें है. It is not our job to verify and check whether you have followed your own process or not. If you don't follow your own process, it is your fault. You can't blame us for this. So this rule protects the outsider against the company. And because Tarkhan won the case, इस rule का एक और नाम पड़ा Tarkhan's rule. So in exam, if they ask you Tarkhan's rule, don't get confused. It is same doctrine of indoor management. However, bacha, there are 3 exceptions to this. So when I say exceptions, that means in these 3 cases, outsider is at fault. Outsider is at fault. First one, you had knowledge about the irregularity. In the same case law, बच्चा, अगर सी कंपनी को पता था कि उन्होंने खुद का प्रोसीजर फॉलो नहीं किया फिर भी लोन दिया है तो उनका गलती, या तो यू हैड सस्पिशन अबाउट दिस, मतलब आपको शक है. सपोज सी कंपनी को शक है कि अरे शायद इन्होंने दे हैव नॉट पास्ड अ रेजोल्यूशन, सो यू कुड हैव आस्क्ड फॉर प्रूफ, बट यू डिड नॉट आस्क फॉर एनीथिंग, you just blindly gave the loan, then it's your fault. And third is forgery, that is putting someone else's signature. So whenever there is forgery, it is null and void. So in all 3 cases, outsider is at fault. So these are your 3 doctrines: ultra vires, constructive notice, and indoor management. And the last part you have is share. Bacha, you have 2 types of shares: physical share, demat share. Physical shares are shares which can be seen, demat shares are electronic shares. Bacha, since they are electronic form, here they do not have any number, but physical shares do have a number. Secondly, it is not compulsory for all the companies to have the shares in demat form. Only those companies who plan to do public issue of share, they are supposed to have the shares in demat form. But other OPCs, private companies, public companies जो public issue नहीं कर रहे, they can of course go for physical share. Then you have again 2 types of share. You have preference share and you have equity share. Preference share is a share the holders of which get 2 preferences: the dividend and repayment of capital. And equity share is a share which is not a preference share. And here you have 2 things. You have equity shares with voting rights, and equity shares with differential voting rights. See, don't ever say without voting rights. एक तो हक है बेचारे इक्विटी वालों के पास वोट करना, वो कैसे छीन रहे हो आप? With differential voting rights. Now see example. Equity share with voting rights, 1 share is equal to 1 vote. मतलब जितना holding उतना voting. It's in proportion. But bacha, sometimes no, your shares are of different types. See, there are 2 types of investors. First, who is mainly interested in money. Second, who is mainly interested in controlling the company. People like us, we are more interested in money. पैसा चाहिए हमको. But people like Mukesh Ambani, of course, he is also interested in money, but more than money, he is interested in controlling a company. So here the share can be 1 share is equal to 2 votes, but half dividend. कहीं कुछ ज़्यादा तो कहीं कुछ कम, या उल्टा भी हो सकता है. 1 share is equal to 2 times dividend, half vote. See, I am taking one example. You can have different ratio also. 2 shares equal to 3 votes or something like that. So it is not in proportion, it is differential. This is differential voting rights. At your CA foundation level, you just have this much. And lastly, if I have to tell you classification of capital, it's here. Authorized share capital is the maximum capital which you can issue. For example, 12 lakh shares of 10 each, not necessary that you have to issue all. Issued capital, let's say out of 12 lakhs, you have issued only 10 lakhs. But people have subscribed only 9 lakhs. Okay. And you might not have called the entire 10 rupees. Let's say you're calling only 7 rupees. So called up is 9 lakh into 7, 63, and the remaining 27 is uncalled. Maybe people might not have paid you full 7 rupees what you have called. So some is paid up, some is unpaid. What is the difference between uncalled and unpaid? Uncalled means it's not called. Unpaid means it's called but you haven't paid. So that is your classification of share capital, and we also finished kinds of share capital. DVR, there is an example, Tata Motors had done it. That's it. We complete our Companies Act. I hope this video was very useful to you. Bacha, study well. All the very, very best. Bye-bye.